YouTube, we're back. We're doing something different. It's March Madness time. I haven't done one of these in 2 years, I think now. I think I did one a while ago. Back when I was doing my old podcast format, I did this. So, I thought, why not bring the boys on? I only got one of the boys. So Rob's here with me.
So,
So me and Rob are going to go through and we're going to do our brackets. Rob knows a lot about college basketball. I know nothing about
not
college basketball.
does not mean I'll do well at this.
So we're gonna start over at the west, and we're just gonna west, south, east, midwest, and then we'll just go from there. We're just gonna go through. We're just gonna pick, and you're gonna see. You're gonna see how drastically different things are here. So first off, Gonzaga versus Georgia State, and why is it Gonzaga?
Because Gonzaga is the best team, the most complete team in college basketball, and they also have what's projected to be the number one overall pick in the NBA draft, Chet Holmgren. I think it's Holmgren, but he's really good, really skinny, tall kid who can do a little bit of everything. But Gonzaga's deep, and Georgia State.
I don't know a whole lot about basketball, but the name Gonzaga I know. So Boise at Memphis. We got the Broncos taking on the Memphis Tigers.
So this is the first interesting one because Boise is hot, but I mean, if you quickly do a comparison of teams that they've played that are in the tournament, so Boise, San Diego State is also an 8 seed. Boise beat them 3 times. Colorado State is a 6 seed. Boise lost to them twice. And then Wyoming is in one of the first 4 games as a 12 seed. They beat them twice and lost once. So Boise's been tested, but not to the likes of Memphis, who they're the one of only 3 teams that have beaten Houston this year, and they beat them twice. They beat the ACC champs. They beat Alabama, but that's not saying much. Everyone seems to beat Alabama recently. They did lose, but they do have some weird bad losses, like Murray State, like Iowa State. So this is an interesting one. I truly think this is just a pick 'em.
I'm going Boise.
Yeah, I mean you can make an argument for either team.
Boise, because they're gonna do a repeat of when they did the fucking Statue of Liberty, but basketball wise.
Okay.
UConn.
Saying the hook and ladder.
Yeah, there we go. Well, they did the Statue of Liberty too with Ian Johnson, with the 2-pointer.
Yeah, but I'm saying in basketball, I mean the Statue of Liberty is kind of just like a fake pick play. But
there we go. They're gonna run a fake pick play and win the game. Calling it. UConn versus New Mexico State. I was gonna win my UConn hoodie today, but I didn't. So I'm picking UConn anyway. But yeah, UConn.
Yeah, I mean, New Mexico State's got 2 really good players, but they're not really tested whatsoever. UConn plays in the Big East, and UConn kind of has been playing really well down the stretch. So it really comes down to, can New Mexico State's 2 guards score a ton of points? I would go with UConn too, but obviously the 12-5 pick is always a sexy upset pick.
Sexy.
Although in recent years, the 5 has beaten the 12, and the 13-4, 11-6 have been better picks.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go UConn as well.
All right. Arkansas versus Vermont. You already know what I'm going with. Everyone out there should know what I'm going with. I'm from Vermont. I'm picking Vermont. Let's go Catamounts!
I told you this off street. Vermont's last 8 games they've won by a minimum of 20 points.
The first thing here says is Vermont dominated the American East yet again, closing the season on a 22-1 run.
Yeah, I mean they really haven't lost in 2 months. And the one game they did lose, they lost on a buzzer beater 3. So it's fair to say they could easily make a run. Unfortunately, Arkansas is very good.
Nope.
They're just so aggressive. But if they play their A game, Vermont could easily pull off an upset.
Let's go, Vermont. This is the first of the games that Rob was telling me about, how Rutgers and Notre Dame have to play, and that's going to determine who's going to be in here. But it doesn't fucking matter who's going to be in here because Rutgers sucks, and I don't like Notre Dame. So Alabama it is.
Oh, that's harsh. So Rutgers is actually a really weird team.
Yeah.
Because Rutgers has... So they usually divide this into 3 quadrants. Like, quadrant 1 is your top 10 teams. Quadrant 2 is like 11 through 35, and quadrant 3 is 35 through 100.
Okay.
And Rutgers actually has the most quadrant 1 and 2 wins out of any team in college basketball. They also have the most quadrant 4 losses out of any team in the tournament. So they lose the teams that they should not lose to, but they beat teams they have no business beating, and they just made a deep run last year. So I would honestly pick Rutgers if they can get by Notre Dame. But if Notre Dame makes it, I would pick Bama. Bama's the most inconsistent basketball team in the world. They'll either beat you by 30 or they'll lose because they turn the ball over 35 freaking times. Like, they just sit there, they sprint up and down the court, and they just huck up threes. And if they're falling, awesome. If they're not, it's a long, long day. They do have a NBA prospect on their team. I think it's Shackelford is how you pronounce his name. But just don't be – if Rutgers beats Notre Dame, that's a game where you might have one of your first picks that is truly, like, just badly wrong. Rutgers could blow out Alabama.
Interesting. Texas Tech versus Montana State.
At Montana State in San Diego.
In San Diego. Red Raiders.
Yeah, Texas Tech is good. Their defense is so good. They're one of those teams that plays full court press like the entire game.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, yeah. They get right up in your grill. The only way they'll lose to Montana State is if they all get into foul trouble, which usually in the first round of the tournament, they kind of let teams play.
I'm just saying, this is the 7-4 versus top 25, and Montana State hasn't even played a top 25, so yeah.
No, I agree. Texas Tech should blow them
out. Boom. Michigan State versus Davidson.
This is a very intriguing one. A lot of people will pick Davidson.
I'm picking Davidson for one very, very, very intriguing reason. Their mascot looks fucking weird. This symbol here looks so weird.
Davidson is the home of Steph Curry.
Okay.
And I believe Obi. No, that was Dayton. Never mind. Yeah, I mean Davidson scores a lot of points. Michigan State had a nice run in the Big Ten title game, in the Big Ten Big Ten tournament. Oh my God, I can't talk. But yeah, I mean, This is another pick'em game. So Davidson it is.
Davidson, weird logo. Duke versus CSU Fullerton.
Cal State.
Cal State. Okay, I was gonna say I was like CSU. What the fuck?
Why are you taking time on this?
Because, bro, like I know Duke's good, but I love that their logo is just a really bad F. Duke it is.
Duke it is.
Duke it is. All right. So now we go to the South. Yes.
Either that or you just finish off the West. Whatever you want to do.
Let's go to the South. Let's do each one, and then we'll do the Sweet 16. It's Sweet 16, okay. Right? And then it's the crazy eights, and then
the top right bracket.
Yes. Arizona versus Worcester.
Right State or Bryant.
Okay.
It is Bryant's first time ever in the NCAA tournament. Bryant, this is kind of interesting. Bryant does have the player that leads the entire country in points per game. Very Jimmer Fredette-like. Kid shoots it everywhere.
Fuck it. You've convinced me. I'm going Bryant.
Now, before you make this pick,
Already made.
Before you make this, let me make this very clear. Arizona is one of the best teams in the country that's only lost 3 times this season.
Yeah, they're 98.9% of users have picked them. I'm picking Bryant.
All right, you're picking Arizona. Good.
Seton Hall.
Only one 16 seed has ever beaten a 1 seed, and that team won because the team they played couldn't score the basketball. Virginia was a defensive-based team. Arizona averages like 80 points a game. Arizona will blow out whoever they
Arizona won't know what's hitting them when Bryant shows up to town.
You're right. Bryant's kid will score 40 points, and they'll still lose by 40.
Seton Hall versus TCU. Seton Hall I know is basketball country, so I'm going to Seton Hall.
Yeah, honestly, not a bad pick. Both teams very average. Have some good wins, have some good losses. So,
Houston versus UAB. Let's go Blazers. Let's go Blazers.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I can't tell you. I can't say no. The only issue with the Blazers is they don't have a single player over 6'7".
That's fine.
Could be for 1 round. It won't be for 2 rounds, but for 1 round, that could be okay. I can give you a Blazers pick there. Mainly because it's a 12-5 upset. We can go with that.
Yeah. And now we're not going with the upset. We're going Illinois over Chattanooga.
Thank God.
Let's go fight in Illini. Woo! Also, I don't know, I don't know what it is, but the C, I just hate how the C is like, it's fully a line at the bottom, but at the top there's like a little dent. I don't like that. I don't like it. Don't like it. Colorado State versus Michigan.
Ugh, Michigan.
Let's go Colorado State.
I agree 100%. Colorado State is probably one of the most boring teams to watch, though, if you like high-scoring, high-paced games. They don't do that. They slow the game to a crawl, and then they're just extremely efficient. So they slow it to a crawl. They come away with 2 points.
That's
almost
funny.
Their efficiency rating is through the roof in the half-court set. I want to say they score, what is it? Do they have the stat here?
So points per game is 65.7.
Yeah,
no, points allowed. Never mind. That's points allowed. Points per game is 73.7.
Yeah, they slow it down to a freaking crawl.
Love it. Love it. Also, I just like their uniforms and their colors. I'm just talking about for football, but anyways.
It's the same.
Exactly. Oh, Tennessee versus Longwood. Who is Longwood?
It's a great question.
I like it. Longwood.
Oh, my God.
Let's go, Woodies. Let's go, Longwoods.
This is only the second one so far, but I am overriding you and picking. We're picking Tennessee.
You can say that, but I'm still picking Longwood. Ohio State versus Loyola Chicago. This is an interesting one.
In 2018, Loyola Chicago made it all the way to the Final Four as an 11 seed. Okay, and then the next year they made it to the Sweet 16 as an 8 seed. So they've fought before. They know.
Their logo is a letter and an animal.
Mm-hmm.
But not like a logo that looks like an animal or an animal that looks like a logo. No. This is just a logo. This is just a letter with a logo just slapped on top of it and moved to the side. That is the most boring, basic shit I've ever seen for a logo. But it has caught my attention. Therefore, Loyola Chicago.
Country at 30 years old.
I love it. I'm going Loyola Chicago. Fuck Ohio State.
All right.
And the last one is for the South is Villanova versus Delaware.
So the only interesting point about Delaware is that if you remember Jameer Nelson,
Nope.
he played for St. Joe's back in the day when him and Delonte West made a run for St. Joe's to the Elite Eight.
Sure.
His son plays for Delaware. But other than that, Villanova should kill them.
I know only a few teams and names that are basketball schools, and Villanova is one of them, Nova.
That is very true. Villanova is one of the best teams in the country.
All right. Now we're going down to the East. We're flying now. Moving. Baylor versus Norfolk State, and why do I want to pick Norfolk State?
You don't.
With that logo, though. It's the weirdest looking fucking thing. It's like a seal.
So, Norfolk State has played one team.
Mm-hmm. All season.
That's decent.
Oh, okay.
That was Xavier. Norfolk State lost by 40 to Xavier.
Is Xavier on this list?
No, they didn't even make the tournament.
Baylor it is. That was a really quick one. UNC versus Marquette, and I know Marquette is a college school. Yeah.
It is a college school. That just like every other school here, they are a college school. Yes.
Yes, the college school of Marquette. I know they're a basketball school.
They are. Yes. So is it North Carolina?
But that's the thing. Is like I also know that UNC does well with the basketballs. I'm gonna go with Marquette, and I'm gonna do it for one reason. I've kind of been doing this the whole time secretly, without doing it a little bit on some of these picks. If I'm not 100% sure, I look at versus top 25, and Marquette is 6-6, which is good, but North Carolina is 2-4. I'm going Marquette because they do better versus the better teams.
It's true. Marquette has beaten Villanova twice. They've beaten Seton Hall twice. They've beaten Providence. They've beaten Illinois.
Picked 2 of those teams.
Yeah. The problem is they've also lost to Creighton 3 times, lost to Wisconsin, lost to Providence. So they're hit or miss, but it's a solid pick.
Hit or miss. Okay. St. Mary's versus Wyoming or Indiana, and it's St. Mary's. I'm not even... Isn't St. Mary's the one that has the old lady in the crowd?
No.
Oh, which one's that?
University. That's with she's a nun, and that's Maryland, Baltimore County.
Are they in this?
They did not make the tournament, I don't believe.
What
they
the
lost.
Fuck.
They lost to Vermont.
Well, that's fine then. They lost to Vermont. Anyway, I'm still picking St. Mary's, though. Nothing's changing there.
All right. Wyoming is a sleeper, but I agree with you.
I don't trust these 2 teams. The two gamers. Nope. UCLA versus Akron.
I will say there is usually one first 4 team that makes a run because they get hot in the first game.
Yeah, I already picked that team. It was the one up here. Where was it? Which one was it again? Hold up a second. Close. Which one was it? It was this one up here. It was Bryant.
Oh my god.
It was Bryant. I've already picked my hot team.
I hope Bryant loses in the fucking game. They don't even...
That's gonna be the only game I watch, alright? Just to make a point. I'm going UCLA.
Smart. UCLA doesn't have a player under 6'7" in their starting line. So
these are the stats. This is the reason why I bring Rob around for these things, because these are the stats that I need to know about. Fuck all these things here. It's the random shit like that. Like, yeah, they have a guy from like Germany who's like 7'3" and he just hits people. It's like, yes, him.
UCLA can be very, very good.
Also, I'm never gonna get tired of saying UCLA. Texas versus Virginia Tech, and I'm picking the Hokies.
Hokies are hot.
Woo!
Tournament. What's funny about Virginia Tech, they said this in the ACC title game, their entire starting lineup is either players that transferred to them from mid-majors, so like the MAC or something like that, or Division 2/3 players that transferred to them. So they all play with a giant chip on their shoulder.
That's awesome. I love that. That stat right there is going to propel them deep into my playoffs. Purdue versus Yale.
Yeah, so
Boilermakers.
before you make this pick, Purdue is one of the best teams in the country.
Okay, you were picking the one. Yeah, I know. Bro, Yale is a football thing, and like even then, I'm not picking them. Like,
so this is Yale versus 14. The only 4 teams they played that made the tournament. They lost to Auburn by 22, St. Mary's by 27, Seton Hall by 36, and Vermont by 8.
Yeah, no, they don't win. They don't win. Put Bryant in them. Murray State versus San Francisco, and I'm going Murray State. Murray State's another one of the basketball ones that I remember. Also, that logo looks fucking cool.
Murray State is one of the teams they beat Chattanooga and they beat Memphis. So 2 other tournament teams. San Fran really hasn't beaten any tournament teams except for your Blazers.
I don't like the logo. It's a horseshoe with SF in it. Don't like it. And the final one of this is Kentucky versus St. Peter's.
Next.
I was gonna say that seems mean. All right, so now we go over to the other side. So we have Kansas versus Texas and no, I was gonna
Texas Southern.
Oh, okay, Texas Southern.
Texas Corpus Christi.
Kansas it is.
Yes, very good.
San Diego State versus Creighton. Oh, it's Creighton. 100% Creighton. All the time Creighton. That is such a cool fucking logo. Is that a Blue Jay?
Yes.
I love it. It's Creighton.
They are the Jays, yes.
Creighton wins.
Creighton is a very good team. They just they go hot and cold very easily.
Yeah, 5 and 6 versus top 25.
2 really big white boys at center.
2 really big white boys at center.
Mm-hmm. They always seem to have one that's like 7 feet, 280, and can fucking dunk.
That's fucking crazy. Iowa versus Richmond.
Iowa just won the Big Ten title.
Iowa, it is. Also, I've never been a fan of Richmond's logo.
Spiders, yeah.
Well, no, so I'm fine with the spiders, but like it's just like it looks like a concept art for like a Spider-Man logo, and I don't like that. No, looks no.
Iowa's got a pair of twins, the Murray twins. They're both filthy.
That's awesome.
They're so good.
Providence, South Dakota State.
This is going to be a sexy upset pick because South Dakota State's offense is the real deal. They really have not lost many games at all.
I'm picking South Dakota State, and you want to know why I'm picking South Dakota State?
Why?
Because that's the team that we used to do in college way back in the day when we were playing NCAA basketball. We did the Jackrabbits.
Yes, we did.
So that's why I'm picking them. My final four is going to be like fucking South Dakota State, Bryant, Vermont. That's going to be great. LSU versus Iowa State.
Yeah, this is a pick 'em.
See, this is a tough one now because the verses for 25, it's 3 and 5, 4 and 7. Those are basically the same fucking number.
Yeah, they're really very similar teams. The one thing is, Iowa State kind of resembles every Cinderella team there ever has been. That they play really aggressive defense and they can get hot from the 3-point line at any point.
So I'm gonna go Iowa State. 2 reasons. One, right here it says they went 2-22 last season. They brought in a new coach, and he's fucking just turned this team around.
They also transferred from Penn State, who's really good.
And LSU they just lost their coach. So I'm going Iowa State.
Yeah, it was really weird. They just fired him. Made no sense. Oh, it does make sense. There's tons of like recruiting violations.
Yeah, it says alleged recruiting violations. Yeah, no, we don't pick cheaters here. Unless it's fucking Brian Cushing, because he won twice. Wisconsin versus Colgate. When did a toothpaste company get a basketball team?
So when I read this to Meg loved the product. Fan of
I'm going Wisconsin. I can't go against my Badgers, bro. I love I love Wisconsin across the board, even in football. And as a fucking Nebraska fan, anytime we play Wisconsin, I'm like, oh, I like both teams. USC versus the U.
USC is a sexy pick. But they struggle in big games. They usually struggle.
So
they've got another one of the projected top picks, Mobley.
Okay.
His twin brother got drafted last year.
Ew. So I'm gonna go with Miami, and here's the reasoning. Okay. Mm-hmm. Versus top 25, Miami's 1-2. Versus top 25 for USC, they're 1-4, which means they've played 2 more games and lost them.
Yeah, like I said, in big games, USC struggles.
Yep. Nope. Don't like that. Don't like it. This is all big games from here on out. Especially when Bryant comes to town. Auburn versus Jacksonville State to end the whole thing.
Auburn's one of the best teams in the country.
Well, Auburn it is. All right, there we go. There's the first bit of this. The madness. Now we get down to what, the Sweet 16?
Yep.
All right.
No, not round of 32. So you're picking the guys that will go to the Sweet 16. So now you go up to the top left, and you've got Gonzaga versus Boise State.
Yes, I do. It's Gonzaga.
Yep.
This is where the first part is where it's a little bit difficult. This is where it gets easy now, because now it's like, okay, now this is just boom, Gonzaga.
UConn, Vermont.
I'm gonna do it. I'm going Vermont. Fuck it. Why not, right?
I have no problem with that pick.
Doing it.
Because in all honesty, even if you get that pick wrong, because the way this works, it's all
they're not going through Gonzaga.
Well, no. Even if you originally picked Vermont and Arkansas wins, I think Arkansas would beat UConn. So it's not like you're going to lose any points really here.
Okay.
Because I don't think UConn's going to make some magical run.
Alabama versus Texas Tech.
To me, this is Texas Tech all day. This is a matchup nightmare for Alabama. A team that can actually play defense against them.
Well, and they've played 2 more games versus good competitors and won.
Yeah.
Texas Tech. Davidson versus Duke. Duke.
Yeah, this is another one that Davidson, if they get hot, they could make a lot of noise. But Duke is a better team overall.
Yeah, see, and this just sucks for the first top 25 because Davidson 1-0, Duke 2-0, motherfuckers. Duke it is. All right, so there's that side. Moving over to the south, we got Bryant versus Seton Hall.
Arizona versus Seton Hall.
And you know what? It's Bryant all day. Bryant's making a run. Calling it.
Dude, Bryant's not even going to make
Bryant's making a run. UAB versus Illinois. Unfortunately, this is where the dragon gets slayed. Illinois.
Good decision.
Colorado State versus Longwood.
Versus Tennessee.
Somehow, though, Longwood has a 13% pick rate in this, though.
Because there's idiots like you that think that they're going to even make it this far.
Colorado State it is.
That's fair.
This looks like a horse with a spear. And I don't see a person on the horse, so how is the spear attached to the horse?
It's a good question.
Loyola Chicago versus Villanova. Villanova it is. Goodbye, weird logo. Alright. Bottom left. Baylor versus Marquette. So now this is the one that's gonna be a toughie for me, even though probably Baylor's probably gonna smack this one out of the park. But I like Marquette.
No, that's fine. They could easily happen. Baylor is a team that's susceptible to upsets.
I'm gonna go Marquette. Marquette has played a ton more top 25 games, which means to me more experience versus better teams.
That's logical.
Boom. St. Mary's versus UCLA. UCLA. Ah!
I wouldn't. So you know, St. Mary's top 25 record. All 3 of those games are against Gonzaga.
St. Mary's it is. Very easy. They beat Gonzaga once. I mean, that's just fucking, yeah. There we go.
The other they lost by like 50 points.
That's fine. You can't beat... As we have said multiple times on the stream before, you can't beat a team 3 times in a row. You can't do it.
It wasn't in a row. It was the second time.
Can't beat them 3 times in a row. Virginia Tech versus Purdue.
If Virginia Tech's playing the way they did in the ACC tournament, this is going to be a very good game.
Well, because of that, didn't you say Virginia Tech was the team that was that's all kids with like chips on their shoulder because they're all transferred in? I'm picking them.
Right.
I think that if they can beat Texas, that chip immediately becomes a little bit lighter, but it also allows them to kind of ball out a little bit. Like now it's like, okay, now we're gonna fucking show these people why we should have been on their teams.
Yeah.
Murray State versus Kentucky.
Kentucky's very good.
Kentucky it is then. Boom. See, we're flying now. We're just fucking flying through this shit. Nice and easy. Midwest.
Creighton.
You said I can't pick Creighton?
No, Kansas versus Creighton.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you can't pick Creighton. I was like, fucking excuse me? I can.
No, the only one you can't pick is Bryant. I've already got off your table.
The only one you can't pick is Bryant, and you keep picking them. I want to go Creighton.
That's fine.
Fuck Kansas.
Defense. They could easily get blown out, but
like I said, I really like their logo. Creighton. North Dakota State versus Iowa.
South Dakota State.
Middle Tennessee State versus Iowa. It doesn't matter. It's Iowa. They did their job. They made it through the first round, but now this is where it comes to an end. Iowa State versus Wisconsin. As I said, I love Wisconsin across the board. So, Wisconsin. I'm not even double thinking this one. Florida versus Auburn. By Florida, I mean the U.
Yeah. I was like, what? Florida didn't make the tournament. So.
The U. No, I'm picking Auburn.
As you should. Auburn literally has someone that's projected to be a top 3 pick.
All right. So now we get down. So now this is the Sweet 16, right? No, this is the Elite 8, right?
This is the Sweet 16. You're picking to see who goes to the Elite 8.
So this is confusing. There's 8 matchups. Like
Gonzaga versus Vermont.
Vermont, 0.5%.
Dude, you're high.
No, it's Gonzaga. This is where the Vermont train ends.
If they even make it this far, it's a fucking miracle.
Texas Tech versus Duke.
This would be a hell of a game.
I'm gonna go Tech. I like the upset of the 3 over the 2. And yet again, 2-0, perfect record, right? Perfect. But it's only 2 games versus the 11 that Texas Tech has had to play. Texas Tech. All right, over to the South. What do we got here? Bryant versus Illinois.
Arizona versus Illinois.
And you know what? User picks is at 2% on Bryant.
Yeah, no shit, Bryant.
Them some good odds, Rob. Bryant.
You're gonna do really well because I've kept clicking Arizona. So you're gonna do.
Colorado State versus Villanova. It's Villanova. They just the better team.
So down to the bottom.
Down to the bottom. So now we got Marquette versus St. Mary's. You know, I'm gonna stick with my guns. I'm gonna keep doing what I've been doing this whole time. Like almost like, you know, versus the best of the best. Marquette has played more teams in the 500. I'm gonna say Marquette. Marquette makes it into this round. Boom.
All right.
Virginia Tech versus Kentucky. I'm going Virginia Tech. I like the idea of a bunch of people transferring in and then them just going on a fucking tear. Love it.
Fair logic.
Creighton versus Iowa. Is this where my Blue Jays finally get smacked around?
I would say yes.
See, I would too. I mean, my picking thing is saying otherwise, but no, I'm gonna say Iowa. I like the Hawkeyes. Wisconsin versus Auburn. Why do I feel like this would be a good game?
I don't.
Is that because Wisconsin would win?
No.
Yes, Wisconsin it is then. So now, this is the Elite Eight?
Yes.
This is so confusing. There's 4 games.
Yeah, but there's 8 teams.
All right. Gonzaga, Texas Tech. Zaga. Boom. Bryant
Arizona
versus Villanova. I need another Bryant stat. I need
There's nothing else, dude. They've got one good player. The rest of their team is like 6'6". They're all freaking white boys from Rhode Island. Like, they've never made the tournament before, which is why they will not make it out of the first 4.
The fairy tale ends. Villanova wins.
Okay, Villanova over Arizona. Got it.
Marquette versus Virginia Tech. Yet again, I'm gonna go Tech in this. I'm gonna go Tech.
I think that one's crazy, but Virginia Tech literally went through the whole ACC and had upset Central. So that one's not crazy.
Well, remember in college when I picked West Virginia that one year and they fucking did it? None of
Well, they made it to the Final Four.
Yeah, and none of you guys thought they would, but I did.
Yeah, you also had them playing like a 15 seed in the Final Four.
That's fine.
So it didn't matter.
I'm gonna go Vautech. I just like I still like the story of a bunch of transfers fucking kicking ass. I like that. Iowa versus Wisconsin. Wisconsin. Okay.
All right.
So now we get down to the Final Four.
Yes.
Okay, see now I'm learning.
Zaga versus Virginia Tech.
Okay, Zaga versus Tech. I think this is where the fairy tale ends. And it's Zaga. And then I got Villanova versus Wisconsin. And you know, I just haven't said a whole lot about Nova this whole time. And you know why? Because that's just how confident I am. So I'm just going to... Boom. So now it's Gonzaga versus Nova.
Yep.
Wow, that's drastically not what I thought it would be for user picks. Is Gonzaga really this good?
Gonzaga's the favorite. I mean, if you look at... Here, I'll pull this up for you. Gonzaga this year, okay? Again, they play in a conference where they don't really play anybody, but so that you can kind of get a picture, okay?
Okay.
Gonzaga beat to make the tournament, okay? They beat St. Mary's by 23 points.
Okay.
They beat San Fran, who's in the tournament, by 10.
Okay. Very similar.
Then they beat everybody else in their conference by a crap ton of points because they're better than everyone in their conference, so we don't really worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
The last time they played a meaningful, challenging game was February 12th. They played St. Mary's, and they beat them by. Let's see. No, so February 26th, they lost to St. Mary's by 10. Then 2 weeks before that, they beat St. Mary's by 26. Let's see here. Then before that, the last meaningful game they played was they beat Texas Tech on December 18th by 14 points. On December 4th, they did lose to Alabama by 11.
Okay.
And on Thanksgiving, they lost to Duke by 3. But the day before, they beat UCLA, who's in the tournament, by 20. And that's about it. They also beat Texas, or the second game of the year, by 12. So, I mean, they've beaten a lot of good teams earlier in the year. They just have... So they have the best player on the court at all times, who's going to be the number 1 overall pick.
Okay.
They've got one of those wily old experienced guys in the NFL, but he's a big guy who is a clutch college basketball player. I said the NFL, I meant the NBA. Things like that. Nova is your prototypical. They play 5 guys at the 3-point line. They can all shoot threes at any point. And they just are aggressive and attack. The problem with Villanova, and actually the last time Villanova won the national title game, I believe they beat Gonzaga on a 3-pointer at the buzzer.
Ooh.
So this would be a rematch of 5 years ago.
I'm going to go with Gonzaga. Because of key multiple players returned from last year's national title runner-up team. Those guys got to be hungry, right? If they were runner-ups last year and they returned, because you don't see that in college basketball, right? You rarely see people return. So if they're returning, yeah, I'm going to go Zygo. Fuck it. Boom. Final score. We're going to go 75 to 70. We go 70.5. 75-70. Zaga. Zaga's going to hit a 3. Get the lead. Steal it. Lay it up. End game. There we go. There we go, everybody. That is our March Madness bracket done. The Husky Kingdom's bracket is done. I think this is the most accurate bracket there is out there. Right? Used a lot of statistics and stats, and really deep dove into it. Right? So I want to thank Rob for coming in and helping out. I appreciate it. I think he went on the call. But I want to thank Rob for coming on and helping out with us. Let me know what you guys' brackets look like. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. And as always, depending on where you are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Still try to stay safe, and we'll talk to y'all later. Bye. George, what do you think? You're all on board with Bryant too, right? Rob's on board with Bryant too, guys. Don't worry about it. We're all Bryant. Let's go, Bryant. He didn't say anything. Means he likes Bryant.